Hi guys, hi here. We are together on Lemonade Talk. I'm Yulia and I'm so happy to invite Kate, our queen of sales, head of sales. Kate, say hi.
Hi everyone, nice to see you. Well, nice to see you, Julia, and nice to hear and get the answers from the rest of you.
Cool, cool. We are here today to share our answers for your questions. We announced AMA session like 1 week before, I think, and we have 8 amazing questions, which Kate gonna ask. So, Kate, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Any intro, maybe? Any reflecting, maybe before? Any highs before?
Yeah, for sure. I was thinking, what should I say? And it's been my 5th year at the company, and I remember when I started, our dev community was real small, and I had the luxury to know almost everyone in the dev community. Right now, we're about 13 or 1400 people here. I'm still privileged to know many of you in person, to have met you somewhere at the events, on the calls with the clients, and it's an absolute pleasure to see how community grows. Happy to share all the I don't know, knowledge or tips and tricks I have here. Hope it will be useful for you, like personally, if you're building your business and need some sales tips, and for you as a developer, if you want to sell yourself better to a client.
Yeah, cool. Thank you so much, Kate. And I would like to add, if you have any question during our talk, please put them in the comments below. We will ask them in the end. And all pre-questions I will put in our chat as well, one by one, just to have opportunity to show you it on the screen. So let's go. Guys, one moment. All questions anonymous. We don't know who exactly it asks us. Okay, so Kate, our developer asks, how do you find the clients, the startup looking for devs in special? Because some really know what they want, others are really new to software development.
Yeah. So how do you find the clients? We have a couple of different, we call it sales sources, where we get our leads from. If I would group them, that would be we have ads with the influencers. This can be like podcasts or newsletters. We also have a portion of clients from social media ads or Google ads. The other would be the cold selling, as we call it, so the outbound activities. We tried that last year, 2 years ago. That doesn't bring that much of results, so it's a kind of a hobby for us right now, let's say so. This year, we also reframed the referral program we have. And these quarters, and I think we will continue that in the next year, we build more partnerships with other companies. So, for example, it can be a product company or a service company. They do something different than what we do, but their target audience is same as ours. So we can share leads between us and them, and everyone can win from this. But you're right, I don't know who asked that, and I'm sure our developers also do like selling, right? Selling themselves. And I can share our perspective, but happy to hear your thoughts, guys, as well. Because yeah, some clients, they do have technical background, and when they come to us, they say, oh, I need a React developer for like 5 months to complete tasks A, B, C.
Mm-hmm.
For us, it's easier to work with clients like that. I don't know if that's the same for you guys, but for us, it's easier because the clients know what they want, they get what they want, and yeah, it just makes more sense for us to work with those types of customers. Then we have the second category when they like. Um, I was thinking yesterday about building a new Twitter. Oh gosh, what was that? In
Mine.
the process,
Wow.
the customers come to us like, Twitter is not good. I want to build my own Twitter. It's a super simple task, just give me a developer and a quote. And I'm like, is building another Twitter as simple as you thought it would be? So the customers who are new to software development, pretty often they have big dreams. They're interested in people to talk to, but it's way more difficult to build business with them. So most likely than not, we did not end up working with them. And I know
Mhm.
the other questions we had in Slido, so I'll talk more about that in the other
Yeah,
question.
yeah. I'm about to show it right now. So, do you run ad campaigns, and are they worth it? Good question.
We do, and they are definitely worth it. The only thing to consider when you run ads is first think about the message you give. We started ads, I think, 3 years ago, and the very first one was like not exactly what we wanted. And I don't even remember the messaging itself, but I remember that we put one word which was unnecessary there, and that word attracted wrong prospects. And that
Mm-hmm.
was fun because we had so many disqualified prospects, and I had so many calls with them, and I was like, I was tired talking to them. Yeah, just because you spend a lot of time and you don't get the results. And when we realized what was wrong in the messaging and we fixed that, then the ads became better for us. It's one thing, so you definitely have to experiment a lot. And the other thing with the ads, again, not sometimes, we always want to grow. And that's why we sometimes need to experiment and try new ways and new sources. Because if you don't try, like, you'll not gain anything, right? So we tried the ads with Google, and we spent, my goodness, so much money there. And we didn't get as many clients as we wanted. I'm not saying it's not worth it, just because it's also experience and you don't know the results until you try. So you have to put your money in some sort of ads. But the only thing is, please, 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 if you will run ads yourself, just iterate a couple of times and do constant analysis to measure the efficiency of those ads.
Yes. I would suggest to follow our CEO, Volodaric, on Twitter. He's really open about all the things, like about ad campaigns, savings, all data, and he's really open to answer your question, even if you write them in private. Even if when not even like most of all, if you are from our community, he's like super on it. Okay, okay, guys. Next question. Do you ever turn down clients?
We do. And even though we want to get as many clients as possible, we still have to say no to many of people who approach us. The very first thing would be if the person or company is ready to start the development and hire a developer. I started talking about that like another Twitter. It's my favorite type of a customer. He's like, "Oh, that's such an easy task. Like, can you do that within a month?" I was like, "No." Or a customer who says like, um, "My friend has built a website, and I want to make a copy of that website. Can you please make it?" And when you ask them for like designs or requirements, they tell you like, "Can you go to that website and create
Mhm.
requirements by yourself?" No, we cannot. um, so until the prospect gives us clear instructions and a vision of what they are building, Until that moment, we do not match them with any developer. Uh, why? Because most likely the developers will be investing a lot of time in doing the quotes and estimations, um, while the customer is not really involved, so it's not honest. They have to know what they are building, and they have to come to us with a good description. And that's the first type. The second is communication and the way they talk with us and work with us. So if the client is really aggressive at the very beginning, the chances that they will change are super low. So we don't want to work with those types of people and don't want our developers to also work with them.
Mhm.
Let me see what else. What else? Um, the readiness, the communication. Do I have my notes here? Oh, yes.
Actually, uh-huh.
We have never had this, but if someone would have illegal business, we would also not work with them. And since 2014, we also don't work with businesses from Russia
Mhm.
because our aim and goal here is to help companies grow by building good products, and we are not really into helping our enemies' economy to grow and then invest their money into killing a million people, what they've done so far. So that's the other criteria.
Mhm. Thank you, Kate. What I have on my mind, like, correct me if I'm wrong. So, as I know, you have like qualification guide for MQLs. So, and it's really rare situation when we turn down clients because all that qualification step one by step is really cool. So maybe you can suggest like how to qualify MQL to become SQL and then to become client.
Oh, that's a good question. And we've been working on that for a couple of months every day until we clarified all of that. So, the very first thing, the MQL is what is marketing qualified lead. The idea here is that you can qualify someone by without even talking to them. So marketing means you can qualify them early at the marketing stage. Means you can qualify them by forms on your website, just giving some questions, or you can qualify them by doing some research on LinkedIn, just Googling, or using other sources like Crunchbase and other databases.
Mhm.
So the marketing qualified lead would be before you even talk to them. For us, it's a type of business they're building. They have to be building technological products. They don't have to be agencies. Just because we are platform ourselves and working with agencies doesn't really make a lot of sense. Industry, geography, um, industry geography. So and the last one is that we currently work with the companies that hire for at least 20 hours per week.
Mhm.
If they require fewer hours or like some maintenance, we will most likely not do that. And
Mhm.
then, if they are qualified on this stage before talking to us, then we are welcoming them on a call with us. And then, when the MQL is converting to the SQL, the sales qualified lead. And yeah, here we have a very good framework where we talk with them about what does they really want to do. For example, um, one of one of the examples, yeah, I had a client who also came to us like, oh, I want to build Grammarly for video. And I was like, no, please. No, that's not
I
how
would,
you put it.
I
Like,
would see this really grammar
but
for video, like correcting grammar in video.
yeah,
Cool.
I didn't want to talk to them. Just like I was a little bit biased, but I have to come on a call with them and I have to make them and I had to talk to them. And I was super surprised, wow, by the fact that this guy, he really knew why he's doing that. He understood like the technology, the amount of money he's ready to invest into this, why he's building that. He was building that for himself first of all because he's investor in a couple of VCs. And he told me that like when I'm having the calls, pretty often he was adding the words like, um, well, like, and he wanted the an app that would show them those buzzwords
I
or
see.
like unnecessary words and correct him. So like grammar tells you when your spelling is wrong, then he wanted something else, but for audio and video calls. And that was super amazing. Then we talked to him, and after he was building that like for him personally, he had an idea about how to sell that to other like investors, founders that pitch their products, and they do a lot of video calls because they also want to analyze those calls somehow. They can use it for like theaters or yeah, theaters, drama players, whoever who is presenting, and that is super nice.
Yes.
So then on a call again, you have to understand not only what they are building, but why. Ideally, you iterate and ask a couple of whys until you get to the last one, because the last one here was not only to build an app to correct you, because like you don't wake up in the morning and say like I need an app to correct me. That's not the end goal, right? The end goal is to pitch better, to win more, win or gain more investments, and you can measure that. If you want to add another million to your company, that's a very good measurable thing. So that's what we are trying to get from a client. We also try to understand who else is involved in the decision making process. Uh, the decision making process, the real pain and need, the budget obviously, if they're ready to spend on it like only for today, or they have enough resources to run for another year or 2 years. Um, and who else we are competing with. Most likely they're not only to us, but to other vendors. So our goal here is to understand where we are, so that on the later stages, when we make the offer to them, they're most likely to win and choose us.
Yes, cool, cool. Are we ready for the next question?
I am. Let's see what we have.
Do all clients have a dev stack they want, or are there some of just have a problem and what a solution, no matter what stack? Tricky question, I would say.
And it's similar to the first one. Not all of the clients know that. um, Sometimes, to some of them, you can suggest like what technologies they better to use. It's probably the easiest with the mobile development. I'm not an engineer, but I was able to say if they will go with Swift and Java, or yeah, Swift and Java for mobile development if they needed two apps, or they better choose React Native or Flutter if they don't have like huge budgets to build two separate apps, and they rather build it using one programming language. I think that's the only like scenario when we can suggest them something. For other technologies, like do they choose Node.js, Python, or PHP? Like, I'm not the right person to suggest them. And then sometimes our developers do join the projects like that, and they make their offers what technologies to use. But I would say that we still don't have too many projects like that, just because if the client hasn't done their research yet, if they don't know what they are doing, the chances that they will choose our developers are not huge. So
Yeah, that's really smart.
it's hard. Most likely, we would.
Yeah, see, do you like suggest them, you guys, you need to do like first, second step and then go to us? or it's just like not your qualified lead?
We've tried. So there was one initiative I really wanted to do that like 4 years ago, and then last year we tried that again. So that was two iterations of the same initiative, because sometimes the customers are real good. They do
Mm-hmm.
have budgets, they do have the industry knowledge, but they are not technical, which is also fine. Like, not everyone on this planet has to be technical and understand the nuances and differences between the programming languages. So it's good. And I wanted to help those clients and bring someone from our network, someone who is experienced enough to, someone who has built multiple products and understands how to choose the technology stacks for project or product development.
Mm-hmm.
And I connected such customers with someone from our network so they could talk, and our developer made suggestions. But unfortunately, most likely than not, those customers still didn't start and they didn't do anything. We invested a lot of time. Then last year, we even had a separate person from the Lemon team that was working on projects like that. Because in this scenario, we saw that everyone can win the client because we give them
Mm-hmm.
a technology expert. Someone from the dev community can win from these because they will get a project, and we as a company would also benefit from it.
Mm-hmm.
But still, those customers, they do the consultations, they do the quotes, they come to the first like one or two calls, and then they disappear. Which
Uh,
is also fine again because they're at the um, ideation stage, so they have to gather the thoughts from different sources before they make their decision. Pretty often, that decision is negative for us. But it's
okay.
still fair. We expected that.
So sorry, I just like I'm really curious and I want to ask like a question from myself. Like, what is the portrait? Like, what is the perfect client? The portrait of perfect client for you? Like, maybe 3 points.
Mhm. The perfect line for us is a company, a startup company at their growth stage. That means that their team is small enough, um, and they most likely don't have recruiters or HR people. That is why they need us. But at the same time, they already have about 50, 60 people in a team. They've already developed their MVP, means they validated their idea. Um, Maybe they've pivoted already, so they have a clear understanding where they're going,
Mm-hmm.
and they have somewhat good understanding who they need on their way from here right now to the point where they want to be in 2, 3, 5, 10 years. That's the ideal.
Great, great. Thank you so much. I'm really curious. Like, wow. Okay, the
And
next,
sometimes you have to make 10 calls to find a perfect client, one perfect client.
maybe even more. Maybe even more. Yeah. Next question is, yeah, how much does it cost you to get a client?
Um, at the beginning of this call, I was talking about different sources.
Mm-hmm.
So the customer acquisition cost would be different from a source to a source, obviously, because you invest different sums in different lead sources. On average, I would say it would be $10,000 to $12,000 per client. That's the average customer acquisition cost. Um, if we would break it down by lead source, um, I think the most expensive one would be social media ads. You have just to put
Does
tons of money into there.
does it matter which social media exactly? Like on in general, social media is a really expensive one.
I have only the total numbers, so I don't remember it heart by heart. But we've tried Facebook. Facebook and Instagram are probably the same. It's
Mhm.
fun. I didn't expect we would have customers from Instagram, but we do. Um,
We do.
and now we try LinkedIn. I know that LinkedIn must be the most expensive, and that is why we are trying to do that very accurately right now, not to like give
Mhm.
all our money to LinkedIn. So LinkedIn should be the most expensive, but at the same time, LinkedIn is a professional network, so
Yeah,
that makes more sense.
yeah, that makes. What about Facebook? I've heard a lot that Facebook not so those times.
Yeah, when we started Facebook ads, I was like, please, can we turn them off? The people, Facebook makes it easy for you when you see an ad, and especially if it has appealing visualization, like animations or nice pictures, you're tempted to click on it. So you get a lot of leads. And Facebook already has your email address. So it sends your email address to the vendor, to us, for example. So we have a lot of email addresses. But the problem is that those are personal email addresses, not business email addresses. Means like people don't want to talk about the work, their Gmail addresses. So it's one thing. The other one is that they see so many like photos, ads. Hey, they see a lot of content on their newsfeed, and they forget they've ever clicked on our ad. And when you talk to them, they're like, "Okay,
Wow.
who are you? Did I leave my email address? Did I?" Technically, you get a lot of leads from there. The conversion rate is worse. But when I won my first client from Facebook ad, I was like, wow, it gives me hope. So it works. It still works. You just
Wow.
have to again iterate and iterate, try and try again.
Yeah. And tell me about referrals. Like we have a lot of say it right, referral clients. So people who's been suggesting like who somebody suggests us.
Yeah,
So yeah, I believe how much it costs to us like that referral clients, and we have some referral programs. I know.
we
As
do. We do. So we get a lot of recommendations. I was surprised. I know the product is good. I know
well.
our team is good, but sometimes even I'm surprised by how much people talk about us. For example, our Australian client, he told me like, "Oh, last Saturday I was walking with my friend in a park in Sydney, and they told me about you guys." And
No way.
wow, Saturday park in Sydney. Right after that, few days after that, that's why I remember it so clearly. The other guy told me they had a beer somewhere in a pub. I forgot. Most likely that was New York or
Mm-hmm.
somewhere, yeah, in the US, and they had a beer with someone and they talked about lemon.
No
I
way.
was okay, good. And this type of recommendations and the lead source that costs you nothing, I mean, financially. I will talk a little bit more about that because it's interesting. You still have to invest into that, but financially, like you don't do direct investments into there. Then a few months ago, when I was in Toronto and I went to a startup event, there was a guy in a Shopify hoodie.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of years ago, I worked a lot with the Shopify team, and I had really good like connections with them, and still very warm memories from working with them. And I decided to approach him and talk to him because like maybe that is the one I worked with.
Mm-hmm.
I stood behind him. When I approached him, it appeared he was not from Shopify at all.
Wow.
But he saw my badge here and he said, "Oh, you're from Lemon IO? I know you guys." I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
wow. So it turned the other way around. People do talk a lot about us. That's very cool. The secret to this is first, you still have to run a lot of ads. We've been talking about a couple of minutes ago. So you still have to put your money to LinkedIn, Google, Facebook, influencers, podcasts, whatsoever. And the other thing, again, we covered that a little bit about the qualification
Mm-hmm.
and types of customers you attract. Because if you do choose only the best customers to work with, they will suggest you to their friends, and most likely their friends are also qualified and good. They also build good companies. Because if you start at the very beginning, if you start winning any client, even aggressive, passive aggressive, non qualified, cheaty person whatsoever, they will bring their friends to you. And most likely you don't want to do business with that. We managed to, at the very beginning, it's hard. Like a couple of years ago, when you just start, you don't have a lot of money, right? When you start, it's like you build a new company, you feel like a student. But you have to be very attentive to who you choose to work with. Right now, it pays off because we build a community of customers who know us, who trust us. And when someone talks about Lemon in whatever like startup environments, we have a very good brand there. So that's answering. That was the very long answer about the referral program. And now, since we get a lot of recommendations, we want to incentivize people who recommend us so they can also win, because they win, we win. Again, the customer win, the new customer wins, the developers wins. So that works good for us. We better pay the money to their community, to yourself, like whoever, than we pay Google and LinkedIn.
Oh, cool. Guys, we move to the next question. And if you feel the same as me, like curious about what Kay is saying, put your question in comments below. We'll answer them in the end. So, next question. Next question. One moment. Ta-da-dam. Do you find devs for all clients, or are there some that cannot find developers?
Yeah, there are situations where when we cannot find a developer from our community, this might happen if that's a super rare technology stack or like languages like uh, Clojure. Probably not even all developers knew about that programming language, so it has to be super specific when we don't have a lot of developers in our community. The other thing is that the technology stack might be like popular, it's JavaScript, Python, Ruby, whatever, but a client requires a super niche knowledge in some industry. What they that might be, um, like it's a random example, but when you're building apps for healthcare, many of them, not all of them, but many of them, they require certain standards and following the how do they call it? Like the companies need to go through certifications because you deal with the patient's data. It's personal data. It has to be protected. So the whole company is going through some sort of compliances, and it's easier to work with a developer who already had experience following those compliance and they know the requirements and the documentation. In some other cases, well, sometimes it happens that all our developers are busy with the projects, either through Lemon or they have external projects, so we cannot find a good developer for the client from our community. In that case, we sometimes start external recruiting to attract more developers for that client. Not always it pays off, but I mean, you don't know until you try. So we have to try whatever we can to win a client.
Yes, that's true. I remember the situation with Flutter developers.
Yeah.
You remember how many developers did we find? Like about 10 Flutter developers for exactly for the client, and we win.
Yeah.
and we won the
We
gold.
had a, yeah, that was a very good example. And so our colleague Maria, who worked with that client, she loved them and she really wanted to help them find 10 developers. And 10 developers is like a lot. We didn't have 10 Flutter developers available at that time. So we had to start external recruiting, and we put a lot of efforts into that. If any of the Flutter developers are listening to us right now, that was a good activity we made, and maybe through that activity we attracted you to the platform. Not all of those developers got hired. Obviously, they get like they become a part of the platform, and then the customer has to do their selection process. So that's fair if not all of them got the project, but still what we've done after that is Maria, she probably knew everything about Flutter after that. She was on so many interviews for Flutter positions, so she started her own and separate initiative to
Mhm.
then help those Flutter developers find other projects if it didn't work out with that first client that was on our mind.
So cool.
Not all of them they found projects with us, but that was another good source and opportunity for us to do the outbound activities.
Yeah. I'm say say hi to all Flutter developers, guys. I love you. You are the best part. No, no, I'm not saying the best part of the community, but your stack is so unique, so rare, and I really love you. Okay, next question. Is there a chance? Of course, it's about the market. Is there a chance in the market from last year's change? Sorry, guys,
Yeah,
change in the market from last year, more or less,
there are
client?
both changes and chances. Everything is there. There is a change for sure, and obviously when LinkedIn or Facebook lets 1,000 of people go, that makes a change on the market. For sure, it
Mhm.
does. The other thing is that, Yulia, would you please show the slides? I have prepared two slides.
Yes, please.
Mm, yeah, this is the screenshot from our CRM showing how many customers we had like for the last 6 years. You don't have to make screenshots, but if you do, it's not a secret anyways. So that's how we were growing from 2018 up until right now. And you can see that 2023 is somewhat worse than the previous year, but we still have full months to go. So there is some drop, but it's not as significant as one would think about that. In order for us to keep the positions, again, the marketing team has to come up with new lead sources. The sales team has to do more cold selling, which is super hard these times. That's why we launched a new product, the Lemon Hire.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if you've heard about that or not, but that gives us opportunity to attract even more customers and so help you find more projects. Um, yeah, and we again, someone asked about the customer acquisition costs. So this year, like I mean, this minute right now, because yesterday I was bringing the numbers and our investments into a couple of different lead sources. The marketing team is doing the same. In our data analytics next week, they will be analyzing which sources were the most efficient, and this helps us invest even more in those efficient sources for the 2024 to win even more clients. I think, we are keeping good positions, I would say so. But the change is definitely in there. If Yulia could show the other slide
Yes, please.
I prepared. So it's not our CRM, as you can guess, just because of the VC venture capital firms investments throughout a couple of 5 years. Yeah, 5 years here.
Mhm.
I was saying that Llama AO is working with growth startups. A lot of them are self-funded.
Mm-hmm.
Sweden, for example. But many companies depend on investments. And if we saw a significant drop in investments by the end of 2022, it means fewer companies would be hiring. What that means? It means that people and companies are still hiring, which is good. We will probably never go to the newspapers like again. The IT world is still here. I don't know, like this cannot be changed. More and more companies would be needing developers, software, hardware, like whatever development.
Mm-hmm.
So I have very good um, thoughts about the upcoming years. The only thing that means is we have to be more efficient in where we are investing to attract more customers. And you, as developers, maybe have to be a little bit more prepared when you come on a call with the client. Again, clients will still continue hiring. We will still hunt for those companies. We will still attract them. Uh, and you could also make your extra preparation to make the company choose you, because they will anyways hire someone. If
Yeah.
we work in a team, we will win.
Yeah, speaking about that, we have extra events. You can find our live session on our YouTube channel about how to win a deal, how to be better for the client, and how present yourself, pitch yourself much more better for the client. Like sell yourself in a good way.
When I was preparing for my very first sales call here at Lemon, before that, I think I was uh, doing probably 100 repetitions,
Mm-hmm.
rehearsal repetitions, whatever you call that. I was staying in front of a mirror, making my pitch, training how I would say that to a client. I would then training that with our CEO. He was my client, and I was pitching to him. And I'd done that so many times, so many times. I definitely recommend he also do the same, because even after that, even if you don't feel well, you're sick, you're tired, you have to have a call in the evening, which happens so often. Your speech is like super organic and native to you. You don't even understand how you make that pitch. It's super easy. That helped me thousands of times. You better like train that as well. If
Yeah.
very first few minutes, they also make like the first impression, obviously. So you better make the perfect first impression and win a project.
Yeah. Nothing to add except physical exercise before, like jumping
Yeah, I
jack
also do that.
and deep breath, or
Hmm.
the 5 minute walk would be like so awesome. So awesome.
Hmm.
Don't underestimate it, them.
True.
Okay, Kate. Yes. Is it true? Is it true that some clients use AI to solve some dev problems and don't need dev so much?
I love that question. And if we had to choose like one question here, maybe this one would win because it's super fun. And my answer is I don't know.
Hi,
No,
by the way,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
on our regular basis, we give away our branded hoodie, but this AMA session is anonymous. So anyway, if you know that this question is yours, text me on LinkedIn. I will send you hoodie because Kate chose you.
It's fun because we definitely see that more customers are coming to us for like no code solutions. No code solutions are not exactly AI. It's a little bit different. I understand that, but it's still related. So yes, uh, some clients will choose AI over like traditional software development. Some will go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to build their products.
Mhm.
But um, from the whole volume of the software development in the world, the percentage of AI development, low code development, I think this percentage will not change. So amount changes, but the amount of the whole software development in the world is also increasing. So I was trying to write sales emails with AI. Now, oh my god, no. I better write them by myself. AI can help you. AI can help our customers in building something, but that will definitely not replace like traditional ways of doing something, including the software development.
Yeah, of course, of course. I think when it's only appeared, like everyone were more scared, like wow, and now we just see situation that humans are super important. Anyway, anyway,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Okay, guys, we are still here for a couple minutes. If you feel that you wanna ask us, Kate, Kate exactly, and maybe me. I'm community manager here, so anyway, I'm happy to answer whatever you ask. Yeah, super duper opportunity. Kate, how do you feel about this MS session? Maybe you want to add something from you.
I didn't even realize we already had 8 questions and we finished everything. Yeah, that was fast. Uh, no, I feel inspired, I guess. Um, it's probably the main thing I've said on the call today is the cooperation between us as a platform and the developers. If we synchronize and if we work together, we can definitely win more projects together. That's like the main thing why we are here. Let me see what else I can add about sales. And there is another quote like, sales is not a department in a company, but the whole company has to be thinking about like sale processes, because we could not be selling if there was no marketing. We could not sell if there were not recruiters who work with you guys to be a part of the platform. We could not sell if not you yourselves. We could not sell, or we could not get referrals if we didn't have the customer success team that works with the clients and developers. We could not sell without legal team and the internal platforms. So the sales is like whole process here. But yeah, coming to the calls, being on time for calls, being prepared. That's what salespeople do. Being able to answer all the questions, being able to ask the questions is definitely critical for us as salespeople and for the developers. what was, let me think if there was any. Like the longest conversation between the client and the developer here, I think that was over 2 hours. And we salespeople, we attend all calls like that, and I was like, I don't even get what you're talking about right now. But that was very interesting for them, just to dive deeper into the problem, to understand if they want to work together. That was, I didn't understand the technical questions, but I was watching them, and they, both of them, client and the developers, they were so passionate about what they're talking about. I think that's the best interview. Interview, it means like two people are on the same level and they're talking. Yeah, that just perfect when you're equal with the client and you both qualify each other.
Cool, cool. Kate, thank you so much for your experience, for all your answers, for being so cool. And guys, our community, thank you so much for being so cool as well. We are here so glad to grow the community of the best engineers ever for the best clients ever. So bye, and see you then.
Yeah, pleasure to work with all of you. Good luck with the new projects. See you.